What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you the best budget deck from Blazing Dominion, and that is going to be the Clown Crew. Now I have built this using the Nouvelles package, and for those of you unfamiliar what the Nouvelles package is, it's very simply just, as I skip ahead a little bit, 3 of the culinary confrontations, 1 Passonnière de Nouvelles, and then in the extra deck it is 1 of the Pastel. And the reason for that one is that it's basically a Pendulum monster and a Fusion monster that you can summon from the deck and extra deck. And I'll talk you through how this deck works as I go through it. The reason it's so incredibly budget is that the Clown Crew core is all supers at the highest and commons. So it's about £10 for a core online, at least it was the last time I checked, and I was able to pick up mine for £10 as well. So I'm going to take you through the profile, show you what it can do, and then I'll explain some of the other options you can add to it to upgrade to it and just give you a couple of different options as well. So with all of that out of the way, if you want to see other variants of this deck, because this deck has a very unique ability, I guess, where it locks you out of activating monsters' effects that are special summoned from the deck or special summoned from the extra deck. So it means you can play this with cards like Kashtiras, you can play it with Mitsurugis, you can also play it with like other type of control cards like Vanity's Fiend if you wanted to. I decided not to go down the Vanity's Fiend route, but I've gone with a Breaker route, and I'll explain that as I go. So if you want to see more of those, make sure you get the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, and I'll be more than happy to bring it for you. So starting off with the main monster of the deck being 3 Clown Crew Bien Caviso. Now this is your main card because this is the card that's going to give you draw power, it's going to give you a negation power, it's just overall your best go-to monster. So you get to tribute summon this card by tributing a face-up Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum or Link monster. So you can tribute it as 1 tribute rather than 2. However, if this card is tribute summoned, you get to activate one of these effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters tributed, or negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls equal to the number of monsters tributed. So ideally you kind of want to tribute 2 to draw 2 or negate 2. It then has an effect that during your opponent's main phase, you get a quick effect to immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon a monster. Now this is where the Vanities comes into play, because as you work through, one of your cards can allow you to draw like up to 5 cards in the end phase, which is insane. I think it's even 6. But you can draw 6 cards and set 1 spell or trap from the hand. But then if you draw into Vanities, it means during your opponent's turn, you can use the Bien Caviso to then tribute during your opponent's turn into a Vanities. Once they've already committed a card to the field, it means you don't need to worry about infinite impermanence, and then your Vanity Fiends just locks them down. The other main deck monster at this moment is the Clown Crew Flare. So this one is pretty amazing as well. So you reveal this card in the hand, and this will then allow you to add a Clown Crew card from the deck to the hand, except a Ritual monster, and then discard a card. You can Ritual summon this card with any Clown Crew card, which you'll be able to do with Rehearsal, which I'll talk about in a second. And then on top of that as well, is if this card is tributed, you get to activate one of these effects. You can use each effect once per turn. Shuffle all Ritual monsters from the field and or graves back into the deck. Now the Synchro, Xyz and Link also have that exact same effect, that if they're tributed, you can choose to get a resource recycle or shuffle back all Synchros in like a Cool Tree matchup, all Xyz in the form of Doom Z matchup, Rituals in a Mitsurugi matchup, and then Fusions can also be in a Drekatao matchup, sometimes could be quite useful. Alternatively, you can change an effect monster on the field to face down defense position. Now the card that's going to make this work as a Ritual monster, or be summoned as a Ritual monster, is going to be your Clown Crew Rehearsal. So this card lets you tribute 1 monster from your hand or field to add a Clown Crew Bien Caviso and a Clown Crew spell or trap, except itself from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from the graveyard to Ritual summon a Clown Crew Ritual monster from your hand by tributing 1 monster from the hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed that level. You can only use each effect once per turn, but the reason this one's so nice is because it lets you tribute a monster in the hand or field. You can also start triggering off Mitsurugi tributes effects as well, which is really important. Then probably the best spell card for the deck, in my opinion, is 3 Clown Crew Malabarisme. So this is a quick effect spell card that lets you special summon up to 2 Clown Crew monsters from the deck and or extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. Now I would have loved it if it literally just let you special summon from the extra deck, because then it means it wouldn't have been able to be ashed. And if you are facing Clown Crew, I would say this is probably the most important card to ash, depending on what variant they're on, because this stops them getting 2 bodies on the board, and if those bodies end up being Synchros and Xyz, or Synchros and Fusion, or whatever combination, that means that with their Bien Caviso, they tribute them, they'll draw 2, which is pretty nuts. Until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special from the deck or extra deck. During the main phase, if this card is in the graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you banish it and tribute a monster from the hand or field to target a card in the field and return it to the hand. Only use each effect once per turn. And then for the final Clown Crew cards, we've got the one Matinee Operatics. So this is the card that during the end phase is going to draw you crazy amount of advantage. But during your main phase, special summon a Clown Crew monster from the deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Until the end of the next turn after it resolves, you can't activate the effects of monsters special from the deck or extra deck. During the end phase, you get to draw cards equal to the number of different card types of monsters tributed this turn. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Link. Then you get to set a spell or trap from the hand. Now, what I really like about this is it doesn't actually say tributed on your field, tributed on your opponent's field. So I'm pretty sure, and someone might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's why most lists also play Nibiru, because technically Nibiru tributes. So you can also tribute your cards, but tribute your opponent's monsters as well. So if you were to tribute, let's say, a Ritual and an Xyz on your field and a Synchro on your opponent's field, I'm pretty sure it lets you draw 3 cards, which is pretty mad. Then got the one Clown Crew New Face. So during the standby, shuffle 3 Clown Crew cards from the grave and or banishment back into the deck, draw a card. If you tribute summon a monster, you get to target other spell or traps on the field up to the number of monsters tributed for its tribute summon and destroy them. And if it's sent to the graveyard except from the field, you get to place it face up on the field. So that's quite a nice way of being able to recycle it. And then we've got Clown Crew Soiree Operations. So activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Also, until the end of the next turn, after it resolves, you can't activate monster effects special from the deck or extra deck. Special summon up to 2 Clown Crew monsters from the deck and or extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. Add a Clown Crew monster from the deck to the hand. During the main phase, you get to banish it from the graveyard, so immediately after the effect resolves, tribute summon a Clown Crew monster face up. So that's more ways to get access to Bian Caviso. And then onto the Nouvelles package. So we're playing 3 of the Culinary Confrontation. The order is you choose 1 Nouvelles Pendulum monster and 1 Pastel Pendulum monster from the hand, deck, and or extra deck, and special summon both, 1 to each field, so not the end of the world. The card you're going to want to get to more times than not will be your Passonnière de Nouvelles, and the reason for that one is if it is normal or special, you get to activate one of the following effects to add a level 1 Ritual monster, or recipe card, but level 1 Ritual monster from the deck to the hand. So straight away you get to access your Flair, and then as you've already seen, Flair can then access any Clown Crew card, which is mental. Even if you draw this card, it's not dead, because if you control a Ritual monster, you get to target a monster on the field, special on this card, and then change that monster's battle position. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it lets you target any monster on the field, you change its battle position, so you could summon down your Clown Crew Flair and attack, use this, switch it to defense and summon it. It then searches you out another Clown Crew Flair for the follow-up, and then it gives you another level 1 on the field that if you wanted to, you could make a rank 1 play, but more times than not, you're just getting a Pendulum monster to the field that could then be tributed through Bian Caviso. And then this is where this type of version kind of splits up. So if you wanted to play Mitsurugis or Kashteras, a lot of the non-engine that I'm about to show you would not be able to be used just because of the space-wise. But what this will allow you to do is it means you can play non-engine like your Mulchummy Fualosses, Ash Blossoms. I decided to go with more of a breaker route, but you can very easily play ghost spells if you wanted to. But I went with Freefall the Virtuous because it's a spell that I can set during the end phase. And if I go first, I'm pretty confident in the consistency this deck already has, that I'm more about thinking of breaking an opponent's field. So Freefall the Virtuous, Free Super Polymerization, Forbidden Droplet, Dominus Purge, which technically ignore the extended art cards, but you can actually get Dominus Purge as like a lot lower rarity for like £10 a copy, so it's not breaking the bank. And the benefit of something like your Dominus Purge is it's technically a hand trap that you can activate from the hand, or it's also a card that can be set during the end phase as well. And then 3 Infinite Impermanence. You play lights and darks in the deck. The only dark you play is your Passonnière, so that's where the Purge will clash a little bit. But you've also got to remember you could play Dominus Sparks instead of Infinite Impermanence, so that's another way you can upgrade the deck if you really want to invest into it. But there is a big difference between paying £10 for a deck core and then paying £40 to £50 per copy of Sparks, but entirely up to you on that one. So that's it for the entire main deck. I'm quite happy with the Breaker version because I feel like, I mean, maybe I don't need Mulchummy Fualos. Maybe this could very easily be a Ghost spell, just because I feel that I have enough Breaker cards going second, but then a Fualos can always help me get into Breaker cards. And just how little cards you need. Like your Clown Crew Flair is like a 1.5 card combo because you just need that discard. Your Malabarisme is a 1 card combo that can, as long as you've got access to your Bian Caviso, you've got access to Tribute Off. Rehearsal is your best card to get you to all of those because this grabs you this and then this. Yeah, you've just got so many consistency pieces that will help you get where you need to go. Onto the extra deck, I like to play 2 of each of the Clown Crew extra deck monsters. So we've got 2 of the Meteor, 2 of the Fiends, and 2 of the Diabolo. So there are summoning mechanics if you wanted to. So this requires any tuner and non-tuner. This requires 2 level 3s, and this requires 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. So technically 2 poly target. This one, your opponent cannot activate card or effects when you tribute summon a monster. Now remember, that's not an activate effect, that's a continuous effect. So the built-in effects of negating activated effects is not applied, which is great. If this guy is tributed, you get to activate one of the following effects. Return all synchros from the field or grave to the extra deck. Or you get to target a Clown Crew card in your grave, accept itself, and add it back to the hand. The Fiends. Tribute summon monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. Again, continuous effect. So it means your Vanity's Fiend becomes stronger. It also means your Bian Caviso becomes stronger as well. When it's tributed, return all XZs from the field or grave. Or you set 1 Clown Crew spell from the deck. And then your Diabolo is if your tribute summon monster attacks defense vision monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If it's tributed, return all fusions from the field or grave, or set 1 Clown Crew trap from the deck. So that's how you're going to access your spells. That's going to how you access your traps, and this is how you're going to be able to recycle from the graveyard. Then we've got the one Pastiel Covertu. Don't really need to worry about any of his effects, but if it's in a monster zone is destroyed, you get to place it kind of in Pendulum Zone, so sometimes they can be quite nice. And its pendulum effect is if you have no card in your other Pendulum Zone, you get to place a face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zone. Only use the effect once per turn, and the only card you'll ever have in your face-up extra deck will be your Passonier. So you'll be able to set a scale of 1 to 8. But when you're looking at your, I mean, technically you could Pendulum summon out your hand traps, which would be pretty funny. But you mainly want to go for tribute summons. Then you've just got generic fillers. You've got a Typhon. The reason is that you could summon down Typhon. Its continuous effect will still apply. You just wouldn't be able to detach and return. Super poly targets in the form of Dracus Depelia. You could very easily play a Secturion Dragon. I just couldn't find mine at that moment in time. Mud Dragon, Sea Monster of Theseus, Garura. You could play a Synchro if you wanted to, but the idea is that I'm pretty sure your Sea Monster is a 5. So you could sink into a 6 sometimes, which wouldn't be the end of the world. But then when you bring your Bian Caviso into play, you'll be going into 11s. So you can go into the Thunder God, but again, that's entirely up to you. And then I've got 3 Albions. You don't need to play 3. If you have the upgrade ability, you could cut out 2 Albions and play in the Ecclesia, the Darkest Dragon. But this is currently like £25 to £30 a copy right now, whereas these are like pennies. And the other reason just means that all 3 of your Fallen and the Virtuouses will be live and active and recyclable. So that's it for the entire main deck. Side decks will really come down to your preference and environment. And I'm still trying to figure out the side deck for the upcoming format. But the idea is that you would very easily be able to play stuff like Vanity's Fiend. You could go Vanity's Ruler, which I've seen a lot of people play because that requires 2 tributes as well. I like the idea of Vanity's Fiend during my opponent's turn. Yeah, and then it really kind of is up to you on how control you want to be, how aggressive you want to be, and how defensive you want to be. I'd be looking at Nibiru's, whether you put them in the main or the side. Like I said, I've decided to go with more like Spell Breakers with Droplets and Fallen and the Virtuouses and Super Polarizations. But you've got Nibiru's you can put in, you've got Draw and Lockbirds you can put in right now, you've got Ghost Spells. If you want to have more Ghost second cards, you can also play stuff like Evening Matches, Lightning Storms, you name it, the list goes on and on and on. The fact of the matter is, this deck is crazy budget, very, very fun. It's already got more confirmed support coming, and I really like it. It's a deck that as soon as I saw it and read the cards, I was like, yo, this is amazing. I really hope we're not going to get high rarities. I initially thought that Bian Canviso would be an Ultra. Turns out it was a super rare. I was like, heck yeah. And then I saw the pre-order prices for all of these at £10 for a core. I was like, I can't wait to get these. So, yeah, massive shout out to Grind Games. I was able to pick them up from them. Like I said, £10 for the core, which is a crazy deal. And it's one of these decks that I think will get a lot of hype right now because it's just a cheap budget, very simplistic entryway. And then it's up to you on whether you want to involve it with Kashteras, Mitsurugis. Regenesis is also an option as well because your Bian Canviso is 25-25 and your Regenesis monsters are coming from the hand and not directly from the deck. So they're not applied by the effect locks, which is insane as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer them. And like I said, if you want to see more variants of this one, make sure to get the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, and I'll be more than happy to bring them for you. Otherwise, I've got so much more content to do from Blazing Dominion. It's insane. I've got Doomsies, I've got Rockets, I've got Archfiends and Archfiend Regenis if you want to, even Black Rose Dragon, Predator Plants, Red Dragon Archfiend. The list goes on and on and on, and I can't wait to do it for you all. We've even got Trains as well. Like, there's so many decks that get support from Blazing Dominion. I'm super stoked. Even Synchron's technically got support, so that's really awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.